Okay, this is a chapter on radical equations, and this is chapter 10.3. All right, here are the key concepts for this lesson, so please go ahead and take a moment and get these copied down, and when you're ready for the explanation, go ahead and replay me. Okay, so the first key concept that we're going to talk about is radical equations. And radical equations are just simply plain old equations that contain variables, numbers, and also radicals. Now, we've also got something called an extraneous solution. And this is where we have a solution derived from an equation that is not a solution of the original equation. So this means you must check all your solutions. Okay, so we're going to get down to the bottom and we're going to have a couple solutions. And sometimes they actually don't work. Okay, so that's when we have an extraneous solution. Okay, and here's a couple steps to solve radical equations. The very first step is you want to isolate the radical on one side of the equation. Second, you want to square each side of the equation. This will eliminate the square root. Third, we're going to simplify, and then finally we're going to check. Okay, here's our first example. 2.5 equals square root of h over 4. So first of all, I want to isolate my square root, which means I've got to multiply by 4 on both sides. And 2.5 times 4 is 10 equals square root of h. Now the next step was to square both sides. And when I square both sides, this square, I'm do a different color, this square will eliminate the square root. So those kind of cancel each other out. Okay, and then we have 10 squared, which was 100, equals h. Okay, this is as simple as it will go. So I'm going to go ahead and check my solution. So I'm going to go back to the original problem, and 2.5 equals square root of 100 over 4. 2.5 equals 10 over 4, and 10 divided by 4 is 2.5, which means that's our solution. So 100 equals h. All right, here's your turn. Pause me, try this as best you can, and replay me when you're ready for the answer. Okay, so first of all, we wanted to isolate our square root. So we multiply by 4 on both sides, we get square root of h equals 16. And we want to square both sides to eliminate this square root. And 16 squared is 256. Okay, we want to check our solution, and we get 4 equals square root 256 divided by 4. 4 equals square root of 256 is 16 over 4, and 16 divided by 4 is 4, so you are correct. So our answer is 256. Okay, now here's getting a little bit more challenging. We still want to isolate this square root. Okay, so you can think of this as kind of like a closed parentheses, and everything on the outside of your square root you want to eliminate. So we want to get rid of this plus 7. So we're going to subtract 7 from both sides, and we get square root of x plus 1 equals 3. Okay, now I have isolated my square root. I can't take anything out from underneath the square root because that would just be breaking rules. I can't do that. So right from here, I'm going to square both sides. Okay, so those eliminate. I have x plus 1 equals 9. I subtract 1 from both sides, and I have x equals 8. Now, you've got to check your solution. Make sure we don't have any extraneous solutions. So we have square root of x, which is 8, plus 1, plus 7 equals 10. We have the square root of 9 plus 7 equals 10. Square root of 9 is 3, plus 7 equals 10. 3 plus 7 is 10, equals 10. So we are correct. So our solution is x equals 8. Okay, here's your turn. Go ahead and try this one, and it's similar to the one we just had, so go ahead and give this your best shot. All right, so first of all, we were to subtract 4 from both sides, and we have square root of x plus 1 equals 10. and we square both sides, and we have x plus 1 equals 100. And then we subtract 1 from both sides, and x equals 99. So we want to check this. We come over here and we say 4 plus the square root of 99 plus 1 equals 14. Keep on checking. 100 equals 14. 4 plus 10 equals 14, and 14 equals 14. Boom. Great job. Okay, now this is a little bit different than the one we've seen before in the fact that it has a variable on both sides of the equal sign. Okay, so first of all, we still want to isolate our square root, and because this one's already isolated, I'm going to go ahead and go into the next step. Okay, so there's nothing, before the square root or after the square root. So I'm just going to go ahead and take the square of both sides. Square this side and square this side. When I square it, I eliminate the square root. So I'm left with x plus 2 on the left and x minus 4 squared. Now that was when we were factoring and all that. This was a squared minus 2ab plus b squared. Remember that? So I'm going to take this a squared, and I'm going to square that, and we get x squared minus 2 times ab, which is 2 times negative 4 times x, which is minus 8x, and then plus b squared, which is plus 16. Okay, and all I did was I just squared this x minus 4, and if you want to do it like this, x minus 4 times x minus 4, you can FOIL this out if you'd like it that way. You'll get the same answer. Okay, so from here, how do we solve this? Well, we know how to solve this. We've got to make sure it's equal to 0. And we have x equals x squared minus 9x plus 14. Okay. And then from here, we factor. So we have 0 equals x squared minus 7x minus 2x plus 14. And we group, pull out an x minus 7, pull out a negative 2, x minus 7. We rewrite this as x minus 7, x minus 2. And these are all equal to 0. We have x minus 7 equals 0 and x minus 2 equals 0. And we get x equals 7 and x equals 2. Now when we go and we check, okay, you have to check both solutions. Okay, so I'm going to check the first one as x equals 2. So I'm going to plug in into my original equation. I'm going to plug in square root of 2 plus 2 equals 2 minus 4. And all I did was I just replaced this x with my 2. So I've got square root of 4 equals negative 2. 2 equals negative 2. Okay, now right away you should be able to see that 2 does not equal negative 2, right? So now we're going to check our second solution as x equals 7. Going to plug into this x over here. And we say square root of 7 plus 2 equals 7 minus 4. Square root of 9 equals 3, and 3 equals 3. Okay, now that goes back to our extraneous solutions. Okay, now whenever you have a check that does not work, now this is different from before. When the check doesn't work, that means you did your problem wrong. But sometimes, in cases where you have involving a square root, we have what's called extraneous. And this means that one of our solutions does not work. So in fact, the only solution to this problem is x equals 7. Okay, so the only solution here is x equals 7. X equals 2 does not work in our check, so that does not mean it's not one of our solutions. All right, so go ahead and give this one a shot and see if you can find out your extraneous solutions from this. And replay me when you're ready for the answer. Okay, so first of all, we've got to square both sides. That eliminates your square root. We have x minus 3 squared equals x minus 1. We square x minus 3 and we get x squared minus 6x plus 9 equals x minus 1. We subtract x and add 1. Subtract x, add 1. And that's equal to 0. And we have x squared minus 7x plus 10. And then we have x squared minus 2x minus 5x plus 10 equals 0. Group these together. And we have an x minus 2, negative 5, x minus 2 equals 0. And we rewrite this as x minus 2, x minus 5 equals 0. And then we set x minus 2 equal to 0, x minus 5 equals 0. And our solutions are x equals 2 and x equals 5. All right, so now we got to do two checks because we have two solutions. So our first check is going to be, let's say, x equals 5. So we plug in to 5 minus 3 equals square root of 5 minus 1. 5 minus 3 is 2, square root of 4. 2 equals 2. Well, that one works. Okay, let's try our second one. Of x equals 2. So we have 2 minus 3 equals the square root of 2 minus 1. 2 minus 3 is negative 1. And square root of 1, negative 1 equals 1. Uh-oh. That one does not work. So our solution cannot be x equals 2. So our only solution for this problem is x equals 5. X equals 5 is our solution. Hopefully you guys got that one right. And finally, here's our practice for today's lesson. So please go ahead and get this practice complete. Make sure you do have this practice for class. It will be a silent study if you don't have the practice complete. Good luck, and let me know if you have any questions.